Hello there.
Hello. Is this working?
Yep, I can hear you. I'm just gonna boost your audio a little bit. How's that? Can you say something again?
Like testing?
Yeah, okay, that sounds good.
Great. There's no background noise or anything.
No, sounds all good.
Cool.
I hope no one can hear any background noise on my end. I actually have roofers above me right now, which is delightful. Um, but yeah, it's thanks to the magic of RTX voice. Hopefully, that's canceling it all out. So that is my hope. Should I go ahead and download the file here? Or do you think I'm good to play the version in browser?
I think the browser version should work fine.
All
It's
right.
sort of what most people would play.
Okay. I'll give that a run here. Oh, what engine is this?
This is done in Godot.
Okay, nice. I'm starting to recognize games based on their sort of loading bars. Unity obviously is not fair. It just puts the logo there. But if it's like a darker gray and it says the word loading, that's a Game Maker game. And Godot is this like sort of darker background and single loading bar.
Nice. Yeah. If you download the game, you'll see. You just see it's the Godot logo. Like
Yes,
yeah.
the very well known little like robot. Okay,
Yep.
so I'll go ahead and get started with the game here, and I'll send you the first question, which is, how did you decide on what you were going to make for the jam?
Yeah. So kind of going to the jam. I guess I'm most comfortable doing puzzle platformers. So
Mhm.
that was kind of like decided pre-jam. And then while brainstorming, kind of some ideas were like to cut and join the environments, sort of things being attached. Eventually, so I think I played a lot of puzzle games, and I think subconsciously like Snakebird ended up being the main influence on this.
Uh-oh.
Although later on, I discovered my friend told me this looks a lot like a game called Box Boy, which I actually played the demo for like a long time. So that must also have been like a subconscious influence.
Uh, I was a little worried when you said that it was inspired by Snakebird because I have Snakebird. It's really hard.
Um, yeah, I think the difficulty is also kind of similar to Snakebird.
Okay.
So
Holigar, I agree. Snakebird is a good game. However, the only thing that I am not crazy about is the fact that it aggressively prevents you from solving. Like, there is one and only one right solution to some of the levels, and it's a little frustrating when you think you've come up with something creative, and the developer is just like, "Nah, it's a hard no. We're gonna put something just here to kill you."
wow.
Uh, oh, can I jump and then? Okay, I'll figure this out.
It's level 2 is
Cool.
tricky. Uh,
So yeah, you're just saying that like you're a big fan of the puzzle platforming genre, and you play that you make a lot of games in the puzzle platforming genre, and that you're in general a fan of like puzzle games.
yeah. So I'm a huge puzzle fan in general, and I think sort of I also play a lot of platformers,
Hmm.
so it just seems like a great like platformers feel like a really good base to build like interesting mechanics on top of. So kind of it's just become like a sort of default nice go to.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out. I think I got. There we go. Okay, so I've made. Oh, okay. This guide is so helpful because I realize what I'm supposed to do. Wow. Okay. Yeah, just the subtle little color of like that's your main character.
That's
Are there six levels, or is there going to be more that unlock here?
uh, there's a total of I think was it 14? No, sorry, it's 16 levels in total.
Oh my goodness.
Um, but to beat the game, sort of any percent is like beating 8 levels, so half of them.
Okay.
But yeah, certainly feel free to stop at any point because there's a ton of levels and they're hard.
Well, that's awesome. I mean, Don't worry. I am not going to complete any significant number of them. If previous streams are anything to go by. Just want to quickly acknowledge chat. Happy Taffy, no problem if you couldn't be on here. Your game it would be quite a few down in the queue, all depending on who responds. If you're around later, I'll send you a message. But thanks for getting in touch. Heligar, the harder the game, the more satisfying completing it. Yes, definitely true to some extent. Again, this is kind of a recurring thing for me, but I definitely find that at some point that can sort of bleed over into the rage and I don't want to play this anymore sort of category, but that's just me personally. Anyway, and then Andy is saying, you didn't know that KCaze made an entry? Yes, you will have to try it. And hello, and if you would like to try it right now, then in fact, here is the link. So, with all that out of the way, we can move on to our next question, which was, and the one last thing before I ask the next question is, chat, please feel free to submit questions of your own. Don't forget that I have a set list of questions here, but I want to include any that you have for the developer as well. So, what was your development process like for the game?
So this is pretty interesting. I think the first thing was pretty much just implementing the basic mechanics. While implementing this, I actually discovered, so like right now in the game, you see that the main player character is not rearrangeable, or you can't drag them.
Right.
Originally, I discovered if I allowed you to drag anything, you could just actually go infinite. Like you could, like with 2 blocks, you can go anywhere you want. So it was a lot of discovery of the mechanics while implementing them. So I kind of alternated between making the mechanics and then designing levels and then going back, sometimes having to modify the mechanics to make the levels work the way I wanted them to. These one-way platforms are kind of like an example.
Yeah.
Where it's sort of like there was kind of an unintended consequence where as you change your player collision shape, you can actually go through one-way platforms in sort of a non-intuitive way.
Right.
And I wanted to make that, so I ended up making that sort of thing a bit more consistent, and then like used it to like pretty good effect, I think, in the levels.
Oh man, and I was just noticing that like, oh, the movement isn't, it's actually what do you call it? Not segmented, but
like
radiated. Yeah. So first of all, really quickly, Heligar, thank you for the follow. And also, I didn't mean to interrupt, but we did get a question in from chat, which was, what did you make the music in, and what was your design process for that?
Okay, so I did not make the music. I worked with Shape Onigiri. They made the music. I can see if I can put a link.
Absolutely.
Hopefully my keyboard is not loud.
Oh, don't worry about it. Chris Gaines, thank you for the follow. I like how, like, I don't know, the main character almost seems a little bored, like, all right, what's with these guys, these mustachioed fellows?
Yeah, so this was actually one of the last things. I had static faces for the characters. The main character did not have any sort of expression for like almost the entirety of development. Sort of all this visual polish came in, I think it's like the last 8 hours of the jam, and I had a lot of fun doing the animations. In particular, like, I'm really proud of these mustache animations because the sprites are so small, there's like very little room to do stuff, so I ended up doing kind of like sub-pixel animation for the first time. And if you sort of like pause, you can kind of see there's like some colors like radiate.
Yeah, I do absolutely see it.
So that was really fun.
Heligar's asking if I can go up infinitely. I can only, I can't activate the repositioning while I'm in midair.
Yeah, so there's 2 factors. You cannot like rearrange while in midair, and you cannot rearrange the starting like block. Those 2 things prevent you from going infinitely. At the beginning of the development, I noticed you could, and then was like, yeah, there needs to be some sort of restriction.
Yeah, and that's actually got me very confused as to how to finish this level. Anyway, I'll keep chipping away at this. It doesn't seem like it should be hard, and yet I can't figure out how to get one beneath me. Anyway, okay, I'll keep puzzling away at that. Don't worry about it. I know as a puzzle designer, it must be torturous to see people like getting stuck, especially on simple things when it's just something that my intuition is just not clicking on.
Right. I play tested a bunch with some friends, and like even with friends who play puzzle games, they got stuck at the beginning a lot, and it was kind of difficult to sort of get the difficulty ramp at the beginning like smoother, I would say, because I didn't want players to quit on level 2, obviously. So.
There we go. There we go. Got it. All right. Yeah, I just had to realize that I could move like back one space and then form the little triangle shape to get over the ledge. Burrito Claire, no tips in the future. I got to figure stuff out for myself. Otherwise, the design feedback is not helpful to the designer. Because these, as much as I am doing my best to offer advice on design things, I'm also trying to do playtesting as well, and the best and most effective playtesting you can do is the one where the developer is not giving you any hints or saying anything about the game. So, I do appreciate the tip, but let's do our best not to spoil any. Not spoil. You gave me a hint. I was struggling on something, and I genuinely appreciate it. But, yes, no hints from now on. Anyway, so did you have anything else to say about the development process of the game? I know we had a couple of questions kind of interjecting with that.
Right. So one thing I found very helpful is I always use a sort of Google Docs to-do list. So I always like write down all the brainstorming ideas, then kind of basically type my one-line pitch for the game after like picking the idea. Mm-hmm. And it's really helpful just to keep track of things in a giant to-do list. I usually have my like visual polish to do, like level design fixes to do, mechanics, and so forth.
Nice.
And I think for this game and sort of in general, it's motivating for me to alternate between doing art, like implementation and level design. And I don't know, that helps me sort of. It's really hard to like just power through one thing at a time, so I just like usually like to mix it up.
Nice. Yeah, I know what you mean, and the reason I started pulling open my design document here is because I was curious if you did anything like this, where I have the minimum viable product at the very top, and then I break things up into tiers based on what I think I can accomplish.
Yeah, so
Sism, thank you for the follow.
Yeah, I saw your doc, I think yesterday on stream, and it looks a lot more organized than mine. Usually I just have one giant bullet point list. When I find things that are like critical to the game, I'll usually just highlight them yellow. But yeah, yours looks way more organized.
Okay, well, I mean, it's the funny thing is like the interface of highlighting things would drive me crazy, because I feel like you have to like click on something and then you have to click the drop down, and you have to click a color. Like there are so many extra clicks involved in that. I'm so obsessed with optimization that's why I resorted to creating my own auto hotkey for creating this menu and everything. But everyone has their own workflow, and I'm this happens to work for me. And I just wanted to inquire and also just kind of display it for chat for anyone who's interested how what my particular method is for doing this sort of thing. But
it's really useful to have some sort of document. I think there's too many things to keep track of, and I feel like it's impossible to keep track of it in your head.
Yes, absolutely. Like even for a game jam, even for something as small as a game jam, like you're not going to create it to the same level of polish as you would for like a production project, but all right, so give me a second. Okay, yeah. So, is there any particularly clever hack or shortcut that you used for this game jam project that you would never use in a regular project?
So I think something that I would kind of call hack is originally I had a lot more mechanic ideas, but they were very hard to implement. So what I actually did was, I implemented these yellow like mustache blocks first.
Yeah.
And then as I wanted to add more worlds, I basically thought of the easiest things to implement while still being interesting. So that was kind of how I decided which types of content to cut. It ended up being really nice because some of the later mechanics I could implement in like, I would say, I think it's probably like 20, 30 lines of code
Wow.
with what I already had. So yeah, I don't know, just choosing like easier things to work on. These one-way platforms are also a bit of, they're a byproduct of the way collisions are handled, and not really like intentionally coded to like work that way.
Yeah, I remember I created it. Happy to have you really having fun with the string rewards there, apples. CFM8 or HM, welcome. I'm glad that you could make it to the stream. I know that yeah, yours is going to be one of the next games. Make sure to get that queued up here. I believe VGel's. Oh, well, okay. So VGel just responded a little quicker, so I think that because they were in chat first, I'll be trying out their game, but I'll log yours in right after theirs, if that's okay. But yeah, so I was just going to say something really quickly about the collision mechanic stuff here. But I also had a game, a platforming game that I made where the character could like fold their head down and make themselves into a little box.
Oh, okay.
And then when you could do that on top of a little bounce platform that would send you upwards. And what you could do is you could move on to the bounce platform and then be compressed and then uncompress as the bounce platform launched you up, and it pushed your head above the one-way collision volume, and that allowed you to clip through it.
So did you end up using that mechanic like intentionally in your level design?
Never. However, I left it in as a possible speedrunning strategy.
Cool, very cool.
And I know that people say like, oh yeah, I left it in as a speedrun strat all the time, but it's like, no, legitimately my game, Rebels World, the Zarnok Fortress, was all about speedrunning. Like the entire game was about like trying to save your planet from these evil robots as quickly as possible, and there was an actual counter in the game with a dedicated speedrun mode and everything. So when I say it was a speedrun strat, I mean it was a literal, like legitimately meant to be pro strategy, not just a oh haha speedrun.
Yeah, it's super cool. Like when I think like when devs leave sort of hard to discover mechanics, but that could be used in like other ways. I feel like like in Celeste, so many of the more advanced mechanics, like they feel like they could have been accidental, but then they're actually just like some of them are like semi-accidental, but like most of them are purposefully like let in.
Yeah, like maybe it was an accident at one point, but they decided to make it into a feature.
Yeah, which I think is super cool.
Absolutely. So yeah, anyway, not so subtle plug to one of my older game projects there, but anyway, if we have any other questions from chat, please do keep them coming. Otherwise, we'll just move on to our next one here, which is, did you need to cut or change anything in order to finish the game on time?
Yep, so World 3, you actually, I don't think you'll get there on the screen, but World 3 actually has fewer levels than the other worlds. And that's sort of just due to time constraints. There were like a lot of mechanics I wanted to make, but sort of they were cut because they were mostly too hard to implement. But sort of for all the mechanics that exist in the game, like I don't think any of that needed to be cut. I wanted to work on seeing if I can make the UI not require the mouse, but didn't have time to like iterate enough to figure out a good non-mouse solution.
Sorry, are you saying mess? Like MESS or?
Sorry, mouse, MOUC.
Oh, non-mouse, non-mouse. Okay.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I wanted the game to be playable with controller, but right now that's not possible, and I couldn't come up with a good UI solution for it.
Yeah, like I guess the only thing you could really do is if you like projected radially outwards from the character and then had like use the analog stick to kind of sort of snap between available positions. but I imagine as the shape of the character continues to get more and more elaborate, and there isn't just one position on the radial extreme of the character, but maybe there's two positions side by side. Like, other than creating a virtual cursor, I don't think that that's really easily solvable. I agree.
Yeah, my thought was the only way this would work is with a virtual cursor. But then, yeah, that was also tricky to implement, and it felt like I should just optimize to get the mouse experience. Like,
Yeah. Stuck again. Okay. Oh well. So do you have any plans for the game going forward?
Definitely for post-gem, there's a lot of collision bugs that I want to fix. I want to add 2 more levels to World 3 to sort of round it out. And there's a lot of kind of unintended things in some of the levels that I kind of want to just like tighten up. So yeah, basically fix up a lot of the issues and create 2 more levels that I didn't have time to get to.
I'm resorting to trying to cheat and.
Yep. So there are levels where you can cheese with precise platforming. And,
yes.
Yeah, I definitely don't want players to. It feels a bit sad to like cheese with.
Okay, so what I just did there, was that a cheese?
Yeah, so you didn't end up using the left platform at all.
I know. I couldn't figure it out.
The way I intended it was you hook on.
No! Don't tell me! Don't tell me! I'll get back up there the way I'm supposed to, because I know that I'm not supposed to have those guys on the bottom like that. Or like I can legitimately have one of them below me, like this. But then the cheese ended up being like almost a more satisfying solution, because I'm like, oh, this works. I bet there's like a frame in here where I can freeze the game and move the guys around.
Right.
So no, I can understand for the integrity of the puzzle that you wouldn't want to leave that in, because technically it's a bug and it seems like something that should be polished out. But I don't know. What do you think about creative solutions like that?
Yeah, so I think in terms of if you're using the mechanics of like swapping around, I don't mind having alternate solutions. But one level in particular, actually, you can get away with using without even like interacting with half the puzzle.
Oh boy.
And so that's definitely the kind of thing I want to like fix up. There are also areas where there is just like unneeded elements, and I think getting rid of those would make the level a bit better.
Okay.
So.
Well, I hate for this like in this point here to be the as far as I can make it. But anyway, as I said, I'm not necessarily very good at these sorts of puzzle games. They are not my passion as they are yours. Oh, well, no, I thought I had something there, but well, actually, wait. I think I just did it legitimately. Okay, please tell me that's the end of the level. It is, effectively. Okay, close enough. I'm so glad that I didn't just go for the cheese strat and not... there we go. We did it. Yay!
Nice, awesome.
All right, I get at least through the first 5 levels, so...
Yeah, that's great.
That
was really fast, actually, I thought.
I think, again, maybe not so bad. Hey, chat, keep the meme alive. T for victory. I don't know. I posted a highlight about that from yesterday where it took me 15 minutes to complete the first non-tutorial level of Factory by Theta GC. Anyway,
it's hard to make.
Again, for not having very much of a puzzle-minded brain, and also for dedicating, again, 30% of my attention to the game, 30% to chat, and 30% to listening to you. I think maybe I'm not so terrible at this.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm honestly like pretty impressed, because I think in playtesting, just getting through most of World 1 took quite a while for people.
All right. Well, there's still the star level in World 1, as well as the remaining, was it 11 more levels left in the game? You said 16, right?
Yep, there should be 16 in total.
Okay. So there you go, chat. I've just go ahead and yeah, I just dropped a link in the chat. There you go. Shuffles. I love the name too.
Yeah, I just thought I wanted to make some sort of pun, and literally just brainstorm synonyms for rearranging and people, and tried to find ones that like join together nicely.
Nice. All right. That was our last question here. So, is there anyone you want to give a shout out to, or any other project you'd like to plug?
Definitely shout out to Shike Onigiri for doing all the music. Like, I think the music is amazing, and like it really like improves the atmosphere a lot. Yeah, you can also check out like my other games. Just go to like kc.itch.io. Definitely check out like the games I listed for inspiration. I think those are really great puzzle games. Yeah, like if you like puzzle games, there's a lot of really good puzzle games out there, especially like in this jam as well.
Nice. I love the like just having the KZ. So do you go by? I've been pronouncing your name as in like KCaze, but like how do you actually say it?
Yeah, so most people just pronounce it KCaze. Like in my head, I pronounce it as KCaze.
Okay.
Which is why I kind of shorten it to KC. Like
yeah.
So it's just like KCaze. Yeah.
Okay. All right. KCaze shall be henceforth. I'm sorry that I've been mispronouncing it this entire time. It should have been the first thing that I asked.
Yeah, no worries. Like obviously it doesn't look very pronounceable, so.
That's fine. You should see my last name.
What is your last name?
Well, here I will. I I have a challenge for you. I will type it out, and you can tell me. Okay. This is a fun hack, by the way. Did you know you could control scroll to zoom in Notepad?
Oh, that's really cool. I did not know that. Yeah, I don't want to try to pronounce this.
All right.
Branyitsky.
That's actually really close. Yeah, it's Branyitsky.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. The CZ is a like a t sound, so Branyitsky.
Yeah. Cool.
that was you did a much better job pronouncing my last name than I did pronouncing your alias. Anyway, so thank you so much for joining me on the call, and yeah, if you have any other jam projects or production projects you'd like me to check out in future, please do send them on over.
Cool, awesome. Thanks for having me, and thanks for doing these streams. They've been very entertaining, and it's
like
really great to listen.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad to hear. All right. Well, I guess yeah. Hopefully, talk to you later.
Yep. Bye.
Bye bye.